And welcome y'all to ZenChaos. Yeah, I'm not coming in here on that. Hey, welcome to ZenChaos. Fuck all that bullshit. I am Dean. That over there is smooth and silky Zen. You know what I'm saying? Always coming in here, balancing chakras, balancing the yin yang shit. He's all about that shit.
You know
what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You out here on that shit. I'm just trying to have pure destruction, especially for today. As the title states, this is going to be a breakdown of Rick Scott's Rescue America 11-point plan. And it is going to be a blast. Are you ready to have some fun today?
I am. This is a beautiful piece of legislation he's trying to lay out. I think,
It's wonderful.
I find it hard to argue it. It's a little difficult. For me to find anything wrong with this.
There is. I think this is going to be 11 points that is going to send America to the moon. This is the greatest thing to ever be presented ever within American history.
This is the best 11 points you've ever seen.
And we have to thank Rick Scott for doing that. Rick Scott and all the good people of Florida, right?
So where it takes you 4 weeks to get buried,
Bruh. Florida is a bad place when it comes down to trying to get burials and stuff. It takes people a while. There's a lot of people who die. Hey, within the death care industry, one thing that we say Florida is that's God's waiting room. Bro, there's always a new bro. There's so many people dying in Florida that they're always opening up new funeral homes, and then not even you can have they're kind of like bodegas in New York, where you can have two funeral homes next to each other, and it's okay. Just what's your preference today? Yeah. So now. Off of that into this is going to rescue America, Zen. Are you ready?
Dude, I think if we implement this tomorrow, done. Every issue that we got squashed.
And this clearly answers all of the Republicans' problems right now.
Probably
they got going on. Even though it doesn't matter within 20 years. Less than 20 years, 18 years, obviously minorities will be the majority within the country. Mm-hmm. But regardless of the point, let's talk about the 11-point plan before we get into each one, right? So we have education, number one. Number two is going to be colorblind equality.
I don't see color.
You can't see color anymore. Then there's no more color.
No more.
Just abstract. Live in the gray. Number three, safety and crime. Number four, immigration. I can't wait till we get to this one. 5, growth/economy. 6, government reform and debt. Okay. 7, fair, fraud-free elections. This will be interesting. 8, family. Okay. Number 9, gender, life, and science. Number 10, religious liberty and big tech. 11, America first. You know what's interesting? This is supposed to be the Rescue America plan, right?
And he puts America last.
Rick Scott, you're off to a wonderful start in this whole thing.
I didn't even catch that. I did not even catch that. America first, and he puts it last.
Puts it last. These people on the hill are amazing. So we're gonna go right. You gotta. We're not making this up, people. We're not. This is what is right here in front of all of us. Don't get mad at me and say this is what Rick Scott said. This is what the people of Florida said. Oh gosh, I have a question. Is there any killer color in this? All right, the sociologist in me is now when to break this down and what he said. There is.
We don't see color.
This isn't America, though.
You don't see
That's
color.
The issue that they don't realize. This is not a representation of America.
No. But he doesn't see color, so
it's colorblind equality. You know what I mean? Yes. It doesn't matter. We have white, only white kids.
The white,
whitest. Now, number one, education. We will inspire patriotism and stop teaching the revisionist history of the radical left. Our kids will learn about the wisdom of the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the Founding Fathers. Public schools will focus on the 3 R's, not indoctrinate children with critical race theory or any other political ideology. Okay. Parents, not government, will choose. Excuse me. This is like different parts of the education portion of this bill, right? Parents, not government, will choose the best schools for their kids. I'm not mad at that. We will enact equal opportunity. Actually, you know what? Here's the question: should we break down? I think we should go through each point, kind of.
We can pick. I was gonna say it might take a bit. Then if we're gonna go through,
yeah, you're right. So let's read it through, and then we'll pick and choose some points, right? Kids in public schools. Why only public schools? Kids in public schools will say the Pledge of Allegiance, stand for the national anthem, and honor the American flag. We must foster national unity. Oh, we're definitely going to talk about this one. We will open up our schools to parents. Parents must have the right to know what their children are being taught, who's teaching them, and which organizations are receiving school contracts. That's correct. The FBI, DOJ, and all government entities will be expressly forbidden from intimidating parents who dare speak their minds at school board meetings. Didn't even know that was possible. Public schools will teach our children to love America because while not perfect, it is exceptional, it is good, and is the beacon of freedom in often a dark world. We can talk about this one. No child will be taught they are inherently racist because of the color of their skin, or that some Americans are oppressors and others are oppressed. Oh, we're definitely talking about that one. Teacher tenure at public schools must be eliminated because it protects inadequate teachers, not good teachers. Not mad at that. We will not allow political or social indoctrination in our schools. Teachers who refuse to comply will need to find new jobs. Not mad about that. Obviously, you're gonna have to talk about with clubs stuff like that, but that'd be interesting. No public school will be allowed to discriminate against voluntary prayer or force children to check their faith at the door. Did not know that they could even do that.
That's a solid one.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, didn't even know that was even possible. But that shouldn't happen. We will close the Federal Department of Education. Education is a state function. If Congress wants to spend money on education, they can cut out the middleman and send it directly to schools and parents. We can have a conversation about that one. It will be America's goal to be number one in the world in math and science by 2030. Not mad at that.
Not mad at it. Lofty goal, but go ahead.
Yeah, especially because you got 8 years to go. But it could happen, I guess, if you shoot for the moon, hit a star, right? So now, parents, not government, will choose the best schools for their kids. I think I agree with that. That goes on to school choice. Would you concur?
Yeah,
especially because you have
after
a daughter, a kid, a child. You don't have children. You have a kid. There we go.
You catch on. But yeah, no, I have no. After learning about what it really is, there's an element to it where I don't disagree with it. Where cool, if I can. This school is just flat out better. I can try and get my kid into that school. School choice doesn't mean your kid is definitely in there, but you have the lottery and it can be arranged that your kid goes to the school, not necessarily right within your district. So I don't have an issue with that.
Me neither. It says we will enact opportunity education school. So obviously we just spoke about that. Now, it says kids will say the Pledge of Allegiance, stand for the national anthem, and honor the American flag. We must foster national unity, but I forgot to say kids in public schools. So now here's 2 points. Why only public schools? Why not private schools as well? And then number 2, when you also say later on, he talks about religion. And also he says here that, somewhere that kids will not be forced to check their faith at the door. What about one of my best friends is Jehovah's Witness.
So they don't do any of that. So now you're forcing them to go out. You're forcing them to go against their religion because you want kids to be patriotic.
But then you can teach patriotism within schools. You can teach it correctly, even teach it American history. I truthfully do believe that, because you then teach it as, oh, shit is fucked up, but we the people in that time decide to come together, even while certain other people are fucked up, and we still decide as a nation to move forward. Yeah, there are pockets that may have resistance to certain things, but the nation decided to move forward in such ways because we are American spirit, yada, yada, yada. So you can easily do that. I don't think forcing only public school kids to say the Pledge of Allegiance is the way to do that. So are the private school kids better? Are you trying to say private school kids or charter school kids have it already innate, high national unity, patriotism? Is that what you're saying, that they have a higher rate of patriotism than public school kids? Or maybe because they don't
have to be forced because they're already going to do it, basically, which would play into.
Look at Donald Trump. That's false. This nigga was fucking lying. He lied to get out the draft. What about the Bronx Spurs?
Hey.
Right?
They think it's going to do something. No, because it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't really play a difference in the end. You're going to be who you are. So
Very true.
If you're super patriotic, you're going to be super patriotic. If you're not, you're not. You can play it like Trump in a sense. It's like, oh, I love it, but I'm not going to go as far as fighting.
I agree.
But they don't see color, but which group is more so going to be in public schools over private school?
Well, obviously more black and minority
So we're
kids,
gonna
but you know,
make
black kids
you
obviously.
all. We're gonna make you all stand and honor this.
Well, actually, depends on
we're
part of the
gonna-
country you're in, right? Actually, still gonna be more white kids in public schools when you think about it.
Yeah. Oh, in general, yes, but his rule is
I would say the
public
poor.
schools.
I would say some of this is rooted in classism too.
Yeah, you're gonna make the poor people stand up and say this country is great, even though you're not really treating us great. You're not really doing what you can in some cases to help us, but we're gonna stand up and love this place. Why? Because we're in this public school because we can't afford to go to the private school.
Which then will go to school choice and stuff like that. So that would be, you know, hopefully it could be different schools. It would still be public though.
Those
All right,
still public, so
still public, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. Now it says no child will be taught they are inherently racist because of the color of their skin, or that some Americans are oppressors and others are oppressed. This is
I'm jumping on critical race theory, even though critical race theory isn't really out there being taught as that. I'm going to jump on something that doesn't exist. Let's make a rule against fake shit now.
Bruh, there is nowhere like, well, excuse me, you could, of course, there's always going to be extremes within everything you talk about.
Fact.
But on high average, you are not going to be finding anyone teaching, oh, white kids are inherently evil and black kids are not. No, it's not that at all. But it is teaching that, hey, listen, at the end of the day, when you look at American policy, you look at the laws put in place, the same Republicans who demonize the Democrats for you know, especially when you look at you know, Bill Clinton's 3 strikes you're out. You know, they're like, oh, we did the black community. You know what I mean? When we talk about stop and frisk, these were Democratic policies put in place, right? And we see how they were able to adversely affect one group, one part of the fucking community. We were also able to see within clear eyes what happened with George Floyd. Why was it that he was just killed so grossly like that? And why is that? And then also, too, there are stories and feelings among Black Americans, no matter the socioeconomic position, that we all can agree on. You cannot deny that. And then the more you try to deny that, the deeper of a divide you're going to make within this country. I am so sick and tired of white fear. I am so sick and tired of white fragility when it just comes to, hey, listen, face the facts. Like, this is what you did. This is what happened. We happen to be moving forward from it.
Which no seems to be what he doesn't want to do. Even based off his other point of...
None of these people do.
Oh, what's the other one? The one under that.
Teacher tenure at public schools must be eliminated because it protects inadequate teachers. That one? Or we will not allow political social indoctrination in our schools.
Yeah. It's like you're not going to allow indoctrination, but you're also going to allow them to not teach slavery in some places and to not teach anything related to saying that that slavery was wrong and immoral. Like, we're not going to indoctrinate you, but we're going to make you say the pledge. We're going to make you honor the country. But we're not going to indoctrinate you.
In Texas, it was taught up until like 2015 that that African, like slaves, excuse me, it was taught that slaves were basically working because they liked it. That's what it said, or something. It said something like
along those lines.
Excuse me for paraphrasing it. Look at some past episodes. Shit gets broken down. But this is what was taught. You know what I mean? It was taught that slaves, they worked for housing. They worked for housing. That's what they said.
The Civil War was over states' rights.
States' rights.
States' rights.
Which don't get me wrong, it was about states' rights.
Right.
But what was that? What was it over though?
They were fighting over. We're not going to say what the right that they were fighting over. We're just going to say states' rights.
States' rights for slavery. And then ultimately it does even come down to, because the North wasn't doing it out of the kindness of their heart. It just wanted the South the top of their economy. So even us becoming free is out of America basically trying to save its own self. Nothing to do with black people. That's something else.
Similar to Lincoln. I don't 100%. Care about y'all being free. I want to win the political battle.
100%. Yeah. Or take it
on. Don't care about us.
That's just a little bit, or even take it a step further. When you look at what happened after slavery, right? You look at between you have to say 1865 because of Juneteenth, but after 1865 up until I believe it was 1901 or something like that. Around that time period, we had the greatest economic growth within this country for Black Americans. And then after that, you enact, Jim Crow. And then what happens after you enact Jim Crow? Oh, we have not seen an economic, prosperity within Black America since, because of the laws that were put in place by this country and this government, right? So for you to act as if there aren't people that are oppressed because of the way that the system works out, you're fucking crazy. You motherfuckers are complaining about masks. You motherfuckers are complaining about vaccine mandate, shit like that. You're like, oh, well, look at how this affected me with my job. Look at this affected me with this and this. Imagine if those same fucking policies stayed in place, and then they got even more stringent on people who think like you. If they stayed in place for, I don't know, 150, 200 years, let's see what happens. See what happens to your people. See what happens. And the system is made for that. Stop it, bro. Stop it. So you ready to go? Are you? Do you have anything? The
only other one.
This one?
The tenure one. I like the tenure one.
Fuck yeah, I like the tenure one.
The only drawback that I potentially see is you're old. We want someone new. We're not basing it necessarily off your credentials. We're going to find a way to say that you're not working as well, but we would just want, you're old, we'd rather move in someone new. I
no.
like that. When you free up the tenure doesn't mean like you stay in your job thing. I think that frees that possibility up. But to me, it's it comes with the territory. But I would rather, just because you're tenured now, you don't have to stay. If you suck, you suck. You can go.
Yeah, like I don't think it'll turn into an ageism thing, because like I work, where I work at, I work with a decent amount of older people, and some of them can go and some of them can't, and the ones who can't obviously aren't in the most prominent positions. You see what I'm saying? You have them doing other things, but the ones who can, they are operating at the same frequency as those 10, 20, 30, 40, and in some cases maybe even 50 years younger than them. So I
mean, if you're an old teacher and pull off your thing, cool. But
you have to, because that's the way the world, you have to produce. So that's just the way life is. Like, I see old people in my industry doing some crazy shit day in and day out. So, and yeah, teaching people's hard, but doing the shit that I see motherfuckers doing is hard too. So if one could do it, the other should be able to do it. I do want to say this: the federal department one. I would like to agree with this, but you have states who want to teach that basically slavery wasn't bad. So fuck off with that one.
Right.
Would love to see this happen though. Not gonna lie. Now, America being number one in math and science by 2030.
It'd be nice.
So are you ready? Are you ready to go to the second point?
Yes, sir.
This is gonna be beautiful. So now we're going to colorblind equality. It's funny. I don't see. Now this is where he wants to get somewhere colorful.
Now you want to bring color, but you don't want to use real people.
Not exactly. And this is the sociologist in me is looking at this and understanding what he is portraying to the people. You know what I mean? So like, in the lack of care and the lack of where he fucking, I won't even get into it.
The optics. So, all right. You didn't think this through.
Or he did think it through and was like, oh, this would be the perfect thing, because ultimately, subconsciously, he doesn't give a fuck. So for 2, colorblind equality, we are going to eliminate racial politics in America. No government policy will be based on race. People will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. We are all made in the image of God. To judge a person of the color on the color of their epidermis is immortal. We will not stop dividing people by. We will stop dividing people by race, skin color, ethnicity, or county of origin, which is an immoral and cohesive habit of the woke crowd. Here we go. We will be a nation where people will be judged by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. Ban the box. Government will not ask American citizens to disclose their race, ethnicity, or skin color on any government form. No government policy. No government policy can be based on race or ethnicity. Our military will engage in zero diversity training, teachings on critical race, or any woke ideology indoctrination that divides our troops. Our fighting force must be completely united and completely colorblind. Military leadership that prioritizes racial politics over the security of our country must be relieved of their duties. Colleges and universities that favor or discriminate against students based on race or ethnicity in application process will be ineligible for federal funding and will lose their tax exempt status. Government will base hiring decisions on qualifications, not quotas of any kind. America will strike to provide equal opportunity for everyone, but will not guarantee equal outcomes. What does that mean? We simply do not give a damn what color anyone's skin is. The colorblind, that's the colorblind future America deserves.
The second to last one, that's like slick talk type thing. Like, oh, we're gonna give equal opportunities, but we can't guarantee that you're going to get the job. Fair, but this also means that you'll be able to set up that you're not going to hire any of us.
Exactly.
Or hey, you got the shot. The other guy was more qualified. You were both equally qualified, but we just happened to select him. All the other white people here and no black people. But you all got a fair share. You had a shot.
Just didn't choose you, bud. Just didn't choose you.
Better luck next time, buddy.
So, like, it says we will stop dividing people by race, color, ethnicity, of country of origin, which is a moral or cohesive habit of corrosive. I keep saying cohesive, corrosive habit of the woke crowd. Thank you for correcting that. Do we not understand that the policies I've stated earlier? I don't think I need to restate it, but the country legally is flawed. Especially when you look at the laws and then the way that they have been applied. And then when you look at certain groups and how they were adversely affected. Listen, people, I want you motherfuckers to realize something. The war on drugs. The war on drugs. I say this all the fucking time. The war on drugs was the war on hippies, the wars on the gays, and the wars on the blacks. This is what Nixon's own one of his own top aides said. Not me. You can literally Google this shit. Mm-hmm. What was it that the motherfucker J. Edgar Hoover said? Well, what was it that he said? Oh, I know what he said. Another black messiah will not raise within this country unless we raise him. If this shit is being said by the individuals on top of the hill, how can you expect America to move forward in color blindness? How does that work?
Because in his head, the way that the laws are written, they don't mention color, so they fit.
But the whole
this is in my head. There's the only way that you would lay this out as your plan is if you are strictly looking at it by the words. Oh, anybody who has this drug, blah blah blah. It's one of those, you have to be looking at it that way and think that they're actually going to implement it that way and ignore the fact that it was implemented in a different way.
How can you say that we will be a nation where people will be judged by the content of their character, not the color of their skin, but then say America will strive to provide equal opportunity for everyone, but will not guarantee equal outcomes? Like you
that doesn't go together. They flat out do not go together. Or this is another example of that. The words say that everybody's going to have a chance.
Sounds good.
And the outcomes are not guaranteed.
Yeah.
But then also on top of that, you're going to take out acknowledging any form of race on a government form. So now if we discriminate against a particular race, we can't figure that out. How do you figure it out? You run the stats. How can you run the stats?
How can you run the stats if there are no stats?
So now you're going to go jump to the names? You're going to look at a name and say, oh, that's a black one, that's a white one?
Listen, both you and I, so I don't really say my government name, but your name and my government name, you wouldn't know. You would know by if you saw both of my middle names. Like if you saw the one and you really see the second one. But that second one never shows up on any documents. It's only the first one. So you would have no idea. No idea.
Mm-hmm. And I came to learn from doing my job that like the race stuff matters. Why? Because that's how you track discrimination.
Yes.
You can track if you're discriminating against a group, even indirectly. So if you're indirectly discriminating against a particular group, but you don't have that group listed by any type of race on your paperwork, how are you supposed to figure that out, bro?
You can't.
You think this through?
As you said.
Did you think this through?
No, he did think this through. This is why he wanted to do it. Remember,
so nobody on your team told you that this was stupid?
Bro, how many I don't know if I was talking with you. Excuse me, this is the one time I'm gonna like do like a half a flex to people, but you know, only like the few people who do listen. But like I do like since I do like a few of these motherfuckers, I forget who I said this to, but motherfucking we just had Marjorie Taylor and I forgot who the other one was. They were speaking in front of white supremacists. I just on a podcast
you
with
sent it to me. I think you talked about it somewhere else, but you sent it to me, I think.
Yeah, I did. Cause I was like, what are we doing?
Yep.
Like, this is true.
Yeah.
Like, bro, like, and they're not even mad about it because the same way that they're talking about, like, oh, like we gotta stop weaponizing race, they've been doing it the longest time. Listen, something else I've been screaming since this podcast has started was that I remember back in, I think it was 2009, the Justice Department, I think it was Justice Department did some kind of like internal study. They were like, hey, white supremacists are basically infiltrating the Justice Department. No one believed them. So if they released that information in 2009, how long was that study going on for when they found the shit out? And we're now in 2022, are we? We're seeing it. Boom. Want to go to point 3?
Yeah, because I think we hit the better stuff that's in here.
Yeah. Safety and crime. We will enforce we will enforce our laws, all of them, and increase penalties for theft and violent crime. Oh, what kind of theft? Is it just grand theft? Or are we actually talking about white collar crimes too? Who are we talking to?
Right.
Just theft and violent crime?
You ignore
who are you talking to?
Big group here.
What about embezzlement? What about fraud?
Yeah.
What about all that? What about
insider trading, all that type of stuff?
Oh, we're cool with insider trading.
Pfizer right before COVID. Like, you know.
We will clean up our cities and stop pretending that crime is okay. Okay. We have zero tolerance for mostly peaceful protests that attack police officers, loot businesses, and burn down our cities. We will fund the police and stop all efforts to defund or re-imaging policing. We will bring back respect for people who put their lives on the line to keep us safe. We will support. Okay. Let me go to the second point. And I got friends who are cops. Okay, that's cool. Everyone signs up for that shit. Like you sign up for that shit. Like I am going past unless you are in the fucking military. Like, and even then, everyone signs up for everything that they're fucking doing. Like, thank you for doing it, but I'm not gonna give you any extra respect for doing it.
Right.
And
thank you for what you do, like you said.
Thank you for what you do, but keep it moving. No one gives a fuck that I work in death care. They don't give a shit. It is what it is. This whole fucking frontline workers, yada, yada, yada. No one gave a fuck about us. We kept on doing our business, kept plugging away, doing what we do. We do not get glory. Like, what are we fucking giving you glory for? Half you motherfuckers are fucking either military flunkies or you motherfuckers couldn't even join the military, didn't join the military. So what would be like, okay, yes, shout out to you for being out here and fighting crime and justice. I'm not disrespecting that, but I'm not going to go over and above beyond talking about we will bring back respect for people who put their lives on the line to keep us safe. Some of these motherfuckers blatantly fucking disrespect the law. They blatantly disregard the law, and they blatantly stomp on rights. And then when you get individuals who try to report them or try to say, hey, this is wrong, and they get ousted. Look at the sister that happened in Rochester. It took her over 20 years to get that justice. When she reported an officer abusing his power, she gets fired. Now it took 20 years, the country to go to hell during COVID, for her to get her just due, and for the media to care enough because the story was juicy enough to then have everything righted. Get the fuck out of here. Suck my dick. I don't give a fuck. Click.
Yes, I feel I'm 1,000% with you on that. I respect them for what they do, but we don't have to go above and beyond for it. It's your line of duty. You signed up for that line of work. Like, great. Thank you for doing it, but if you are a piece of shit, then I'm not going to respect you like that. But does that mean because I watched 7 pieces of shit do something that the cop that pulls me over I'm going to be a dick to? No. Why? Because if he's not a dick to me, what am I going to be a dick to him for?
Give you a fair shake as well. You know what I mean? I was like exactly what you said. You know, respect you as much as you respect me. But these motherfuckers just went in blatant respect. It's like, no, fuck you. Like if I get into a fucking accident, you motherfuckers take forever. Or you don't even come. So why? What do we?
What am I paying you for? Give you respect when I called you an hour ago? Like, you think I'm just supposed to sit here?
And all you're doing is sitting in a speed trap? Go protect and serve. That means in all capacities. Fuck out.
I can almost guarantee you sitting there finishing your break. I ain't gonna front like everybody's on some big, long, deep call every time. Like, no, you're not.
No.
I've driven past cops that sit in the same spot on the highway 4 times because I'm circling around. So it's like you couldn't have been that busy.
Relax. So the next one is we will support mandatory strict minimum sentences for all assaults involving serious injury to law enforcement officers. We will strengthen qualified immunity and legal protections for law enforcement officers to protect them from frivolous lawsuits. Once again.
Qualified immunity? You want to just bring that back when it's out and open?
We are going to have a whole breakdown on qualified immunity, my brother. You know that, right? Like a whole, because I don't think
I understand it a little bit. Like, even now, I know that.
What the fuck does he mean by frivolous lawsuit? But
yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Like,
stuff.
you only get brought up on that shit when you
it was bad. You did something wrong. You don't get investigated for nothing,
bruh. Fuck this guy.
Yes, the qualified immunity is the internal investigating of it, right? It's like, oh, our guy did this. We will look into this.
No. Qualified immunity basically gives cops like a broad scope. Like if they make certain mistakes or do certain things that they can't be sued for.
Okay.
So they could disrespect, certain shit of you and like of you, your persons, maybe even some of your rights. And depending on what it is exactly, they can't be sued for it. Exactly. Par for the course for them, right?
Yeah.
Suck my dick. We will demand a nationwide crackdown on theft and violent crime by imposing stiffer penalties so we can restore law and order to our city streets. What about, you know what I'm so sick of? See, and this is my issue when it comes to Republicans. The Republicans on one side, they would demonize the Democrats, saying that the Democrats want to weaponize race, that the Democrats want to fucking like weaponize this woke culture, shit like that. These motherfuckers want to weaponize this whole Blue Cross Blue Shield. Blue Cross Blue Shield. This whole Blue Shield, Blue Wall Blue Shield silent shit. You see what I'm saying? Like, why are we only talking about one type of fucking crime whenever we're talking about crime?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we not going after scammers who are scamming, old grandmothers out of all their retirement money? Why are we not talking about fraud, theft, embezzlement that listen, when they go ahead and they steal millions of dollars from Bank of America, whose money they're taking? They're like, you're going after the bank, but those are everyday
people's money.
People's money. You never ever want to talk about that shit. You only want to talk about violent crime and theft because in your mind only kind of one kind of person, you've been conditioned to it subconsciously, only one kind of person commits that crime. You don't ever want to check shit broadly across. That's why I don't fucking respect the Republicans with any of their talking points most of the time. Because even like, I can't wait till we get to immigration. I'm gonna gut that shit like a fucking pig. Because I guarantee they're only gonna be talking about people coming from south of the border. They're not gonna talk about people who look like them. The same reason that this fucking whole Ukraine crisis got everybody up in arms. And you got fucking all these white people talking about, I'm just so uncomfortable. I can't even understand. We're just killing each other. Get the fuck over it. Join the goddamn line. This is your first time here. Oh fucking well. You motherfuckers don't give a fuck what happens to anybody fucking else. But now all of a sudden, I'm supposed to give a 2/2 of a fucks. Fuck that shit. Feel bad that Russia went over there did that shit, but ultimately those motherfuckers didn't want to join the UN. You get what you fucking get. I don't give a fuck. You motherfuckers want to give a goddamn. Excuse me. You don't give a damn what happens in Africa. It's what I'm batting an eye over here for. It is what it is. Sorry. We will force prosecutors.
Yes, I know what to say, but I forgot.
My bad. I just kind of went crazy. We will force prosecutors to prosecute. At present, many prosecutors in big cities are allowing criminals to go free with no justice, and they are doing it on purpose. Who fucking wrote this plan? A 5-year-old?
There is an element to this that I can say they may be pulling from New York, where
New York and California
bail reform, like the bail reform element,
in California too,
getting out and then going out and doing stupid shit from getting out. So I think they're jumping on this, which I'm like, I can't argue with. I can't argue against it. No. You lock them up, you let them out because you're trying something new, and these aren't reformed people that you're letting back out. So
What about judges? What about judges who let off Olympic swimmers for raping women, outside of a goddamn dumpster? And then the reason they let off is because they're a good kid. They made a mistake. They don't want to ruin their future. What about those fucking guys?
Yeah.
I'm so sick and fucking tired of these fucking white people. All this is what you're doing. You're fucking using your goddamn dog whistle policies, your dog whistle words, and your dog whistle paraphrases and ideologies to effectively just state that you want to just put back status quo. You want to go back to how things were when the good old boys ran things, because that's when everything was as best as it was. Fuck you, eat a fucking dick. It's why I will.
They want everybody locked up and just stuffed there. No, that's kind of it. They don't want
a certain kind of person locked up. They want Rick Scott wants a certain kind.
Poor and black and brown people. If you're poor, black or brown, Rick Scott, white, they don't care about you.
Rick Scott is a part of the same crew who's a Tea Party person. Rick Scott is part of the same I don't know if he's Tea Party, but he would be in the Tea Party. He is the same fucking person who I guarantee you, he may not outwardly supported the Proud Boys, but low key he definitely supported the fucking Proud Boys. Right. He is one of the staples. Excuse me, he's not a staple. He wants to be one of the staples and the pillars of bringing back the good old boys club. And I just want him to know that he can eat a fucking dick. And all these fucking Republicans with their white fragility and go eat a fucking dick. Eat a fucking dick. You just want to go back to being offensive. You want to go back to being an asshole with no one being able to check you, thinking it's fun and cool and it's cool and hip. Shit like that. Fuck this motherfucker. What did it say? We will make it a federal crime for any prosecutor, including the U.S. Department of Justice, to pursue prosecution based on political ideology. Then what about the Supreme Court of Justices? Assuming they said they're prosecutors. Those guys are judges. But then what about judges? Nobody's talking about judges. So judges can have political ideologies and leanings, and they can have inherent biases and not just do everything based off of the law, but how they're feeling. Just not the true interpretation of the law in a neutral point, in a neutral space. Why are we not talking about judges? Oh, because judges are in people's pockets, right? Oh, judges were the ones. So we don't want to talk about how judges. But we don't want to talk about how judges were being paid millions of dollars for locking up, sending kids to prison because of the whole prison industrial complex. We don't want to talk about that. We don't want to fix that issue. How they were making millions because it only affected one kind of person. The same reason that y'all don't give a damn about, you didn't give a damn about whole crack cocaine, but you want me to care about heroin and goddamn the goddamn, what is the other shit these motherfuckers do? Goddamn meth. Supposed to care about that.
But the same people who get locked up and then get released and then go apply for those jobs. If you don't get it, hey, you had an opportunity.
You squandered it. We will eliminate no-knock warrants in any case that does not involve violent crime. Yeah, there you go. Because if a violent crime is currently happening, you have to be able to go in. So yes, I agree. We will increase penalties for spousal abuse and failure to pay child support. Not mad at that, but I'm pretty sure.
I don't like that for the child support part.
Well, I think that. Oh, is it increased? Well, you already had what else more? Motherfuckers go to jail. They don't pay child support.
Yeah, and then the not paying child support, you go to jail, and you still are required to keep paying your child support. So
even when you're in jail,
yeah, they don't stop that thing. It's one of those, they get out and then they're just stuck with this back payment. So as soon as you start working, they take a bunch of your money, and then you have to go fight. I don't like the way the child support thing is set up, and this is one that, granted, I don't overly care for Tommy Sotomayor and the points that he makes, but this is one that he brought up that has stuck, and it is kind of messed up toward mostly men who are on child support. You mess up and don't pay, you go to jail. But in jail, your payments are still supposed to be made. So you get out, now you're stuck. You got to go find work because you got to pay your child support. And then when you do find work, they're going to take a portion of it to pay back the child support that you owe. So to me, being stricter on that, you need to revise that system in some way that's functional now for these people, because you kind of set it up to where that the parent who's required to pay is put into a potential bind that's going to potentially mess up their housing situations and their own living situation and their own well-being. So I'm not crazy about that one.
Can't argue any of those points. I got to do some more research into it. I don't have no kids, anything like that. So that's obviously why, whatever. But
I see it from people that I deal with who come in and they're like, "Oh, this is what I make. I make $900 and only come home with $3 because of child support." Between taxes and child support, you still get your taxes taken out, and then your child support on top of that.
Yeah. Shit. Okay. Oh, fuck. We will enact Marcy's Law, which ensures victims of crimes have rights and constitutional protections equal to those who commit crimes. I agree. And then it says, we will oppose every attempt to deny our Second Amendment freedoms or defend our gun rights always at all costs. Personally, I'm not opposed to that either. But
the only other thing would be the re-imaging police part, where to me you should want to re-image the police. Cool if you're not going to try and defund, but it's the persona that what's the fucking word?
There's a reason that fucking Sesame Street teaches diversity.
The look that you give to the community should be revised.
Community, yeah.
You should reflect your community. You should have policing tactics that seem to be moving in a direction away from what we all seem to think and see going on. So you need to re-image the police department.
Something tells me that this motherfucker was a part of the whole goddamn Mitt Romney shit when he wanted to goddamn defund Sesame Street because he never fucking watched. They're big on fucking diversity. This guy wants everything to be fucking old school and white. All right, here we fucking go.
You're a good one. There was a laughable part in this. I remember I actually laughed out loud for this.
Let's go. I'm about to gut this motherfucker. All right. Immigration. Nations have borders. We should give that a try. Now, when you say give it a try, do you mean give it a try and just immigrate the white people? Or do you mean give it a try and just put up emphasize the south of the border?
Southern border.
Not north of the border. And people say like, oh, Canadians don't fucking immigrate over here or fucking illegally. The fuck they don't. You fucking crazy? We just don't happen to look into that fucking extensively. But let me fucking tell you something. The amount of immigration that we fucking get from the South, it can probably be, and it will be comparable, I would say, in my thesis, to what we get from not only Canadians, but other white immigrants who happen to come over here, illegal aliens, white illegal aliens that we get who may come over here over their visas and overstay their welcomes, come over here to visit America on some coming across the border through fucking Canada, whatever the case may be, because everything's fucking cool. There is a fucking place in Vermont. Did you know that there's a place in Vermont that you can cross the fucking street and you are right in fucking Canada? There is no border police. There is nothing. You know that?
No.
Interesting. So when we talk about fucking borders, what are we fucking talking about? And once again, this is dog whistle shit for you fucking undercover racists. I don't give a fuck what you say, because none of you motherfuckers ever talk about the security implications from immigration when it comes from anywhere else. You only talk about the fucking south of the border. I don't even want to look at this bullshit. I know we have to. I don't want to.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Let's look into it. Yeah, no, we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna shut up. I got some points for later, but here we go. Now it says nations have borders. We should give that a try. President Trump's plan to build a wall was right. We welcome those who want to join us in building the American dream, immigrants who want to be Americans, not change America. We are a stronger nation because we are a nation of immigrants. But immigration without assimilation makes us weaker. Politicians from both parties talk big about border security, do nothing. We are done with that. Point 1, countries have borders. We will control ours and secure it once and for all. Point 2, not really mad at that. No one will enter without our permission. We lock our doors at night, not because we hate the people on the outside, but because we love the people on the inside. We want to keep them safe. Many potential immigrants love America. Those who don't will not be allowed to come here. This is our country, and no one has the right to come to America. That I do agree with. We will employ military assets on our border as needed. Border security is not simply a matter of domestic policy. It's also a matter of national security. Yeah. not just the fucking physical borders. What about the ones in the fucking air, huh? Immigrants will not be eligible to collect unemployment benefits or welfare for the first 7 years after arriving in the U.S. Okay.
See, that one I find kind of that a little messed up. It's already 5 years. What difference is another 2 years going to make?
Oh, it's already 5?
It's already 5. It's 5 if you are here as a permanent resident. You have to be here as a permanent resident. Oh, fair. No, correction.
Wait, hold on. But what if they? But don't they have to pay into unemployment?
Unemployment, I don't know. I can't speak on unemployment. And that's one where it comes from working. So you would have to have had a legal job to get unemployment. But
so why would we? That's fucking stupid.
Welfare, I think maybe cash assistance you can get after 2 years, but SNAP, you can't get food help for 5. You have to wait 5 years. You have to be here for 5 years legally before you can start getting food assistance. So
I'm not mad at that though.
Like, unless you have kids, and I'm not either. So unless you have kids, like your kids will get it. So unless they're talking about not giving it to the kids either, then you're going to make the adults wait another 2 years? Like, what are you going to make them wait 7 years for?
Now you're talking about, I have an issue with the unemployment portion of it. The welfare part, I would have to do some more research into it. Right now, I'm not really moved either way, to be completely honest with you. So this is the next one. We will stop incentivizing people to come to America to receive government benefits. We have plenty of welfare recipients. We need productive citizens instead. Fuck this guy.
They're the ones that come here and work.
Yeah, here we go.
They come here and bust their ass and take care of their whole family, generally, or families
sharing money back home. Like, yeah, come on, these guys aren't sucking the fucking stuff. We will strip all federal funding from sanctuary cities and prosecute any elected officials who float our immigration laws. Okay, so now does that mean the sanctuary cities too for the Second Amendment when that you have going on under Biden now? You know, they have these fucking sanctuary cities for guns and shit. So do those count as well?
This says sanctuary cities.
All right, make sure. We will oppose all comprehensive immigration reform measures until we stop the lawlessness on our border and our border is secure. 10, or the last one, so even not 10, but whatever the last one is. We oppose cultural segregation. We believe in the melting pot where people from many backgrounds go all in on becoming Americans. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
See, now I did find the one about saying you have to love America weird. It's like, how are you going to force that on someone who hasn't been here? They think it's a better place. They've heard it's a better place. How can they say that I love it? When I come in, I love this place that I've never been in. And then when I get there and y'all treat me like shit, am I supposed to say I love it just because y'all let me in?
True. Yeah, I don't know what that means. I'm guessing obviously they would like have to do some kind of comprehensive check to make sure that like you don't secretly hate the fucking country, which I'm
right. That part I can understand. You're not trying to sneak in here because you're trying to infiltrate and tear us down in some way from the inside out. Like that I could get, but you have to love us if you come here. First, let's be cool enough to you. Yeah.
This whole plan is fucking racist. This whole plan was deep, and this whole plan was fucking rooted within racism. I didn't hear one thing about motherfucking goddamn Russians coming over here, fucking, on student visas, becoming spies. I haven't heard about us when we talk about borders. I haven't heard about anything talking about that. That's a complete fucking national security implication. The same thing it is with fucking the goddamn Chinese individuals who are sitting here. See what they like to say when they say anchor babies. They want you to think about somebody from Mexico or South America who came here, some brown woman who came here to have her kids so she can have to stay, so she had to be anchored here to live here. She couldn't leave because of her kid. They like you to think about that. But I want you to think about this as the new phenom of an anchor baby. I want you to think about that this is known. Look this shit up. There's been a lot of Chinese individuals coming over here and having their kid. And then what do they do after that? Take that baby back to fucking China.
Mm-hmm.
According to our laws, that baby is fucking American. Am I wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Do all rights that Americans are due. Am I wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Kid is being raised in China, who we have acknowledged is a fucking. We are one day gonna have to. We're going to have a come to Jesus moment with them one day. And somebody is not going to walk away upright. But we're allowing them to come in and do that. Huh. We're allowing Russia to run fucking spy rings within America that we only shut down recently due to sanctions.
But there's zero mention of anything.
Of none of that shit.
South of the border related.
We're not that cool with India.
Absolutely nothing.
We're not that cool with India either. I'm just calling spade a spade.
Mm-hmm.
They fucking tend, like politically and shit, if a war broke out, they're fucking gonna go join fucking China and Russia.
Yeah.
We're letting these motherfuckers come in left and right as well, too. Like, there's no, you only, when we talk about immigration, we have a Spanish person as a fucking forefront, when truthfully and honestly, they're making the country better. It's these motherfuckers in the East. Russia, China, India. They're not with us. They don't like us. Our ideologies do not mesh. Do some of their people want to come over here to move over here because it's a better country, better place? You know, obviously our freedom and our rights, of course.
They know that their money's going to stretch further if they come here and make some.
That, but then another thing as well. What about the fucking national security implications that they happen to offer? We don't talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even talk about other European countries within the EU or fucking NATO alliance, you know, who happen to come here on their bullshit student visas or visiting and never fucking leave. And no one ever fucking goes and gets them and kicks them out. But you kick out the Spanish people and you definitely kick out African and Caribbean immigrants.
Mm-hmm. Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Interesting. This whole fucking plan is this
racist shit.
Racist is fucking shit.
Yeah.
On this bullshit. I can't wait to smoke weed after this episode. This is gonna be crazy. I'm be sitting out there like these niggas ain't shit. Hey, niggas is crazy, Zen. These niggas is crazy. So now we're on the 5, right? So now we're on to economy and growth. Now, Zen, this is an 11-point plan, right? We're already at 51 fucking minutes. So here's my question. Do we have a part 1 and part 2? Are we going to cut? You concur?
We could stop after this one.
Yeah. And then we'll come back.
This is a good time. And it'll have to read over the end before, or I mean, this one now will be live because I didn't read this one, but I can read the rest. That'll be good.
Bro, this is a
good time.
You and I are going to have some other conversations in the group chat. This kind of stuff may have to, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We're in our bag right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, here we go. Socialism is un-American and it always leads to poverty and oppression. Not mad at that. I will not argue that. We will stop. We will shrink the federal government, reduce government workforce by 25% in 5 years, sell government buildings and assets, and get rid of the old, slow, closed, top-down government run everything system we have today. What does that mean?
Words.
What government buildings? What government workforce? The government workforce is large. So are we just you have to take care of your sick and your poor. I don't give a fuck. And right. I don't like we do need to fucking refine these programs.
Mm-hmm.
We do need to put in requirements. We do need to trim the fat, but you can't want to decide to fucking gut programs because we know exactly what you're talking about. Everything you say is a dog whistle, Rick. It's a dog whistle, baby.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't stupid. Now,
you know who you're aiming at, bro. We know who you're aiming at, bro. We see you.
We see who you fucking.
You're the fat man trying to hide behind a pole right now.
Oh my gosh, he's a Navy man, right? That's what it said. He had a Navy hat on. That's funny. I bet you he loved black and Spanish dick. All right, so. Hey, listen, as a connoisseur, you gotta go with what's right, and I haven't had that. I think I've slept with white guys. It was really only fun and memorable of one that it's like, oh, okay, I remember that fella. The rest it was like, oh, you motherfuckers is just regular. So all right, so socialism. So
no seasoning, huh?
Not even that. It's fucking no girth, no length, no nothing. It's like, what are we doing here, Chief?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. I'm the big spoon, but there's nothing to even. Wow. God
All
bless you. How do you get her pregnant? That's real? Get out the house. I'm serious. It's a real conversation that has happened. Socialism will be Socialism will be treated as a foreign combatant which aims to destroy our prosperity and freedom. Not mad at it. What about you? Are you cool with that?
I mean, you have to leave it where it is. The things that
Yes.
are just social is like you have to leave that. You can't be talking. If you're not talking about that, then cool.
Yeah, I think if you try to make the whole government socialist, yes, but I do believe that
The
a
programs
government.
that are, you have to leave the ones that are.
Yes, I think the ones that are crucial.
Right.
Are the society would fucking crumble. Like I don't think they realize that this homeless shit that you see around in fucking California. Imagine that everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, other than essential core functions, government should not be doing anything that the private sector can do better and cheaper. I'm not totally against, like, there are certain things within the government that fucking, I think what needs to happen is the government needs to run more efficiently.
Yeah.
People need to be able to get fired. That's the problem. See, when you get in these government cushy jobs, you get lazy, like you get fucking entitled. Like there is something with us private sector people that we do get, because I have to deal with the government officials all the time because of my job. And there are times where I'll have to contact the Department of Health because somebody's not being compliant with, like, signing a death certificate or something like that, and like I'm trying to put in a complaint in, and they're just like, well, let's just try to be nice and yada yada. It's like, no, I have a family that has to bury somebody in fucking 2 days. This person died last fucking week, and they still haven't signed a death certificate. I don't want to hear none of this shit. Like there is no sense of urgency with them. So I understand what he means by that. I do. But you can't. I think you need to
certain things that you try and put over the private sector feel like it allows you then to do it.
How longer is it better and cheaper for? Exactly. Yeah, the market. Yeah, let the market set the competition. But then when it comes down to certain of these things, shit gets crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine having a privatized police force.
Yeah.
We will. So the next, we will apply the do it better test. If American business can serve the American people better and cheaper than the government, the work goes to them. Not better. I mean, excuse me, not mad at that. But it goes back into our previous issues, I would say, right?
Yeah. It kind of still depends on what it is. Yeah. It all depends on what it is.
No government assistance unless you are disabled or aggressively seeking work. If you can work, but you refuse to work, you cannot live off the hard work and sweat of your fellow Americans. I'm not mad at that either, but then, like, what about WIC? Shit like that.
What does refuse to work mean?
Yes.
Because, like the thing that we haven't gotten.
Well, you can't get a job.
Or what if you end up in those situations where they care about family? You got a family, you're willing to work, but all of the jobs that you can land aren't going to pay you enough to feed your family. Look at gas prices right now. If I land a job that I am going to be spending my paycheck to get to work, kind of what's the point? What is the point in working? Can you accept a job that's now that's going to be a job, but is not going to pay you, or is going to pay you enough to get back and forth? Or do you have to keep waiting for a job that's going to pay you enough to both get back and forth and actually do something with your money? Because if you care about families, these parts come in. You got to pay for childcare. You got to you're a single parent. You have to have the freedom and flexibility to get off when you need to tend to your kid. Find somebody to watch your kid when you have to go to work. End up homeless in a family shelter. The only job you could find is an overnight type thing. This jacks it up with your housing because you can't be in a homeless shelter and not sleeping there. So I get the idea, but implemented, it's what are your limits then with these work requirements? What do you mean by refuses to work? I know some people who are, I'm not trying to get no job. Then I might have to pay for this. It's like, well, cool. Then you don't need to be getting help because you just flat out don't get it.
Right.
But I've also seen the opposite, the other end of, I could take this work and I have this work, but now I'm homeless and y'all are putting me on the other side of town. How am I supposed to get back and forth to work? I get off at 10 o'clock. There's no public transportation at that time. Like, it's in that sense, I'm like, we can't tell you not to work. Like, obviously you want to go work, but I can see why you are now in a catch-22. So that's where, like, I get these work requirement things, but I don't think that these people actually think of the working class and what it's like to actually find a decent paying job. And then when you got jobs out there like McDonald's who are like, come here, make $17 an hour. Meanwhile, you go there,
we're gonna charge you $9 when we hire you.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna get here. You're gonna get to that final one where we're like, okay, we're gonna hire you Monday, but we're gonna pay you. You don't really meet the qualifications for that 17, and you got to get through training and get a couple promotions. So we'll start you at that 1075, and we can't guarantee your hours, but your availability's got to be there. That way, if we need you,
you can be there. Holy fuck, I can add nothing to that. Because there's no, you hit every fucking thing. We will.
That's the part that I always find a little difficult with those work requirements. I
tabernacle.
Get it. Get the work requirement.
Jesus, talking in tongues. We will require truth in governing. If government passes a law that does not achieve what it promised, the government will be shut down. I like that. Not against it.
Yeah. If not shut down, I'd say revised. It would have to be revised. It has to be. If you're going to start it and it doesn't work like you're planning, then you need to either shut it down or revise it.
How many revisions do you get? 1 or 2?
I'd say 2. If you get 2, if one at least moved you closer.
Okay.
If one didn't move you anywhere near, then that's it. Shut it down. Go back to the drawing board.
Okay. It says we will balance the federal budget. It can be done. States do it all the time. I concur. If Congress does not pass a budget, the members of Congress do not get paid. Full stop. I like it. Other than disaster relief, the federal government must stop spending money on non-essential state and local projects until the budget is balanced. What are non-essential state and local projects?
Yeah.
Like you have
What do you mean?
Now we're getting to a whole other soliloquy.
What does that mean?
Right? Like, because we would have to debate it. If we're on I'm just thinking if we're on the floor.
Is Flint an essential?
How many whites are in there?
Is that related to this?
How many whites are in there?
Isn't that a healthy blend?
Is it a majority?
Black, but it's poor whites.
Do they?
I think
so they're black.
It's still more black.
Then they're black. Then
that's basically how it's looked at.
What's the difference between poor whites and blacks? Huh? In their minds, put them all together. What does it matter?
Yep.
Fuck it. This country's built for them, and they still poor. Fuck it, right? I think that's what these guys on the Hill are thinking. Gotta be. Eliminate truly non-essential government employee positions because they are non-essential. What's non-essential? Like what what do we? Who and what? I'm not mad at that, but what are we talking about?
What's non-essential?
Yes. Implement the line item veto. It works in state capitals. It will work in Washington.
I don't know what that means, so I can't really say.
I got to go more into that.
Yeah.
I think I know what it means, but I refuse to talk about it yet until I go more into details. Expedite all federal permit applications to be granted or denied within 30 days. Got to go into that, but I don't see why it should take longer than 30 days, depending on what it is.
If you're applying for something that sounds reasonable, you should make a decision within a month.
Sounds like somebody's trying to come to my door. If they're trying to get in, I'm up, and the dog's gonna fuck them up, and they're gonna get shot while we're recording.
I won't tell nobody.
Yeah, I'm gonna release the video. So
that's them in the back. You see, I told them. I told him.
All Americans should.
Yeah.
All Americans should pay some income tax to have skin in the game, even if it's a small amount. Currently, over half of Americans pay no income tax. So, what about the retirees who are on fixed income? Like, what about them people?
They're supposed to pay something. Those people who don't make no money and work a little bit, or to live off government assistance, you're supposed to then take your government assistance and pay some. Like the majority of this 50% is poor people. So you're gonna make them pay taxes?
America hates poor people.
People middle class and poor people.
If you're not fucking super
middle class.
Yeah, if you are fucking low middle class or just regular working class, or you are just fucking regular middle class, they don't give a fuck. Upper middle class and everybody after that, okay, we're cooking. We like you. The other ones, they're fucking poor. Who cares about them? That's literally what they say. That's not me. This is what the fucking people say.
Yeah. Their policies seem to go that route. We don't really care about the poor people. Y'all are annoying.
Oh, fuck them. Who cares? You did it to yourself. You just put yourself by the
bootstraps.
My great grandfather came over here and did that, yada yada yada. Suck my dick.
We're gonna make a work requirement, but we're not gonna help you out in any of the areas that need to be helped out for that work requirement.
Nope, not at all.
You need that extra bread to get back and forth? Nah, we ain't giving that to you.
We've done enough for you. You understand me?
Didn't you like your $2,000 through this pandemic?
I gave you two.
Now, to be fair, the unemployment money was good money. I didn't see it, but I saw it. So that at the very least,
I hear you.
I saw it. Yeah. That money was good money. So
I did see
that one I'll give to him.
I did see people. Yeah, some people were fucking losing their minds with that shit. But then I also worked through the whole pandemic.
I worked through the whole thing, so I can't really.
And I also don't have any sympathy for people having to go back to the office. I don't.
I don't have sympathy for them having to go back. I just think that trying to end remote work, like if you know you can do it, just
now that's a different conversation.
Yeah, that's different.
But people just like, I don't want to go back to work, yada yada yada. But if the office is like, no, we found that it's better for our, like, I don't want to hear any of that shit. Like, you know how many people houses I was in the middle of the fucking pandemic? N95 shortage, in there with regular mask, living the good life, just like, all right, guys.
Hey,
I'm sorry. Here. All right, we're gonna do this thing. So I don't got sympathy for none of that.
No.
All right, and then the last one is prohibit debt ceiling increases absent a declaration of war. I probably should have made this whole thing bigger throughout that whole thing. I apologize, people. I'm not truthfully mad at that too much either.
Yeah, that's one I don't know enough about to say.
Yeah, so well, no, I get it. Because if you do everything else that you was talking about with balance and stuff like that, you wouldn't have to increase the debt ceiling, right? Mm-hmm. You would be able to balance your shit. Listen, this was part one of the breakdown of the rest.
We still got a couple more points to go through, and you see how juicy this is. The plan to save us.
But remember, in this 11-point plan, America first is last.
America first starts last.
The 11th point, but it's the most important point, I guess.
Save the best for last. Maybe that's the route he was going. See, we figured it out by the end.
We did. We
didn't even get there. We just needed time to think it out. We had to hear part of the plan first, and then
absolutely.
That's what he put it last, because you save the best
for last
when you put them first.
You see what I'm saying? America first, number one. Shout out to Rick Scott. Shout out to all these fucking racist ass Republicans. Shout out to all these racist ass Democrats. Shout out to all you stupid motherfuckers on the Hill. And shout out to all you stupid motherfuckers who decide to continually vote for these motherfuckers, expecting to change when they're all just perpetuating status quo within their own realm. The same way the right demonizes the left and the left demonizes the right. If I look at both of you and I look at the playbooks you're using the same plays, but you're calling the plays at different fucking times. Mm-hmm. I just want to say this before Zen gets his last word. I want each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart to suck a dick and eat a dick and motherfucking die slow, because you are doing nothing to actually actually move the country forward. You're doing everything to push the country fucking back. No matter which side of the end you fall on, if you go extreme, if you go this kind of crazy, using dog whistle words, using fucking underlying tones, not stating what you mean. That is the issue that's going on within this fucking great nation. Could be an even greater nation, but a whole bunch of pussies on either side keep fucking it up. I done said what I said, and I mean what I said.
We good on that one.
This has been ZenChaos. Make sure you like, share, motherfucking subscribe. Go ahead and go ahead in that description. Go ahead and click them links. See what's going on, player. Hit some likes, some follows.
For you. We'll leave it there.
And have some motherfucking fun. You know what I'm saying? Peace, love, and motherfucking chicken. We are out.